Even though life is constantly changing between MySpace, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, one thing that remains constant is the love for the famous chocolate chip cookie. Now, in order to truly appreciate the chocolate chip cookie, it's important to go back to its history, to find ways that you can get a chocolate chip cookie, and also, if you'd like to make them at home, it's so easy. Anyone can do it. I can give you some tips and get back to the basics on how to get a chocolate chip cookie. Now let's go to the history. The history starts about 87 years ago with Ruth Wakefield. She and her husband bought a restaurant called the Toll House Inn. Now many famous people came to this inn, including some of the Kennedys. Now this is where the story gets very interesting. There's half-truths in the story. So I'm going to tell you the half-truth, and then I will tell you the truth. Mrs. Wakefield was in the kitchen, and she was making butter drop dew cookies when she looked over and found she had no nuts. She saw the bar of chocolate. She chunked it off, put it into the cookie, hoping to make a chocolate cookie. She put it in the oven, and it came out a chocolate chip cookie as we know it today. Now, there's a bunch of flaws in this. Nestle invented the story because the original story was just a basic story. Here's the truth. Mrs. Wakefield was in the kitchen. She did have cookie dough. It was just a butterscotch-based cookie dough. She looked over and saw the chocolate bar and decided that she would chunk it off, put it into the cookies, and put it in the oven. And we got our beloved chocolate chip cookie. Now, this story is important because she was a dietitian and she understood the science behind making cookies. Now we go to the 40s when the troops just loved chocolate chip cookies, and all the baby boomers loved them too. So it was coined the favorite cookie of America. Now, the morsels have changed over the years. We call them chocolate chips. But originally, they were called morsels, and still today they call them morsels. So some of the bags will say chocolate chips, but if you notice, this one says morsels, and you'll see the Toll House name onto them. Now, Mrs. Wakefield had a contract until 1979, and that's where Nestle changed the recipe a bit. So they took out the water, they took out shortening and added butter and made it a bigger cookie than the coin-sized cookie. Now it's a palm-sized cookie. It's chewier and gooier and just delicious. So now you're thinking, well, where do I get this chocolate chip cookie? Well, some of the places you can get them prepackaged. You can get them in the grocery store as a refrigerated item that you can just put into the oven. But the best thing to do is to make them homemade. Now, where do I get recipes? Well, you can get recipes off the internet, magazines, books. You can even get them from family kinsmen or heirloom recipes that are handed down through generations. As long as it has the chocolate chip in it, it is a chocolate chip cookie. So feel free to add nuts, to add fruit. Just keep the basic recipe and you will have a delicious chocolate chip cookie. Now let's get back to the basics. Chocolate is very important when you're making a chocolate chip cookie. Don't buy the cheap brands. These have a lot of wax in them and they will not give you a quality tasting chocolate. Use fresh ingredients like eggs, butter, and even fresh vanilla will make the best quality that you can imagine. Butter is very important. Don't use margarine. It has water in it and it will make a terrible tasting cookie. Butter is a basic. Go back to butter. Don't overbake. The way you can tell if you have it on a pan is just to look and see if there's a brown ring, if the gooey center. All you have to do is take that pan out after 9 or 10 minutes, depending on your oven, put it on the counter and let it sit for just a little bit more and you'll have a very delicious cookie. Now some of the hints when you're baking and you found that recipe, you can take your butter. If it needs to be softened, just put it in the microwave for 15 seconds and this will soften it up very nicely. Parchment is a good thing to use also. It's an insulator and your cookies will not burn. If you need to sift your flour, all you do is put it in a bowl and stir it around with a whisk and this will get the lumps out. Chill your dough. This is important so that you don't have flat cookies. So Americans continue to obsess over chocolate chip cookies. Even businesses like McDonald's, Mrs. Fields Cookies, and even Chick-fil-A sell these wonderful cookies. So even if you're full, there's always room for dessert. Choose the chocolate chip cookie. You'll be happy you did.